If you've been following Cyberpunk 2077 for a while, you'd remember that during the pre-release marketing blitz for the game, we saw a teaser from CDPR in partnership with Netflix and Studio Trigger, showcasing Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a 10-part anime series following the footsteps of a mercenary in Night City. With the cyberpunk genre having deep roots in 80s and 90s anime, it makes sense that Edgerunners would follow suit. And although I still think a CGI adaptation of Cyberpunk's world would be my first choice, anime is also right up there, knowing that Ghost in the Shell is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Slated for 2022, we haven't heard a peep from Trigger, Netflix, or CD PROJEKT RED about Edgerunners, so I did some digging to see what we could pull up about the developments of this 2077 spin-off, and if it's even still releasing. At the time of the show's announcement on June 25th, 2020, Holly Bennett had mentioned that work on Edgerunners had been going on for quite some time at that point, which was roughly 2 years ago. Even more recently, we've gotten a soon from Raphael Yaki, who is the executive producer and creator of the show. To get a better feel for when Edgerunners could release, let's first take a look at how long anime developmental cycles are. Taking a look into what seems to be the average amount of time for animation teams to produce a single episode, it seems like 2-ish months is what we can classify as the industry standard. Based on this, we can assume that the 10 episodes can be made at the very least in 20 months. Now, earlier episodes can take a fair bit longer in some developmental cycles, and because Studio Trigger are masters of their craft and seem to give their productions some extra TLC, I can imagine that the first set of episodes might even double up on their production times. So say the first 3 episodes actually take 4 months a pop. Then all 10 episodes would take just over 2 years to be completed. Keep in mind that anime is very expensive to produce, and Trigger has been developing this anime during the peak of the pandemic. Now this is just taking into account the actual animating and directing on Trigger's side. We also have to remember that a lot of work has to be put up front by writers of the anime from the narrative and storytelling side. Edgerunners will be set in the same universe as 2077 and will take place in Night City, but it will not follow V, and given that, it's likely that even more work will have gone into ideating and iterating on the direction that they want to take. I personally think Edgerunners will be stronger because of it, looking at the microcosm of activity in the underbelly of Night City. Without any of V's storylines weaving in and out of the story, we get to see how strong or weak Night City is itself, as a more central character. Trigger and producer of Edgerunners, Saya Elder, who we saw in Night City Wire episode 1, have also been incredibly quiet, which is probably a good sign. They have their heads down and are working. There was a rumor that patch 1.5 in the live stream highlighting the changes would include an Edgerunners trailer. And well, the 1.5 stream came and went, and there wasn't a peep from anybody. I can imagine the next stream will have some details, maybe even a trailer. But as we start to get into Q2 of 2022, and with Edgerunners not being delayed out of this year, I'm betting this happens sooner rather than later. I'd love to see Edgerunners be slotted amongst the great cyberpunk animes that the 90s spawned. And with Trigger at the helm with CDPR aiding in the writing and production, I think we may just be in for some stylishly unrivaled stories from the world of Night City, which I know so many of us are itching for at this point. So TLDR, things are quiet, but all signs point to Edgerunners being around the corner. I'll keep you guys updated on anything Edgerunners in the future, and for more Cyberpunk, join Neon Nation by subscribing to the Neon Arcade.